everyone. My name is Kavita and I'm from IDP IELTS in Australia. I'm so excited to welcome you to the first webinar of our IELTS from start to finish series. We have test takers joining us from all over the world today. So wherever you are, welcome. Thank you for connecting and thank you for choosing IELTS. Our presenter tonight will be the one and only IELTS expert, Don Oliver. I think by this point, most of you know Don from our previous webinars, masterclasses, and his appearance on our TikTok channel. He has more than 30 years experience working with IELTS, so you're in very good hands. In tonight's webinar, an introduction to IELTS, Don will take you through the basics of IELTS, aiming to teach you everything you need to know about the test. He will be joined by a special guest, Oki, from our IDP IELTS Test Center in Melbourne, who will share a walkthrough of the test center so you know exactly what to expect on test day. She will also share some very handy computer-delivered IELTS tips. We will end the webinar with a short Q&A session, so if you're joining via Zoom, please submit your questions in the Q&A box. And if you're joining us via Facebook, please leave our comments you have for Don in the comments box, and we will try to answer as many as we can today. So without further ado, Don, take it away.
Thank you very much, Kavita, and it's great to be with you all today. And as Kavita said, we're going to talk about IELTS from start to finish. There's not a lot of time, so I really can't go into every single detail, but I hope to give you a good understanding of the basics. So where do we begin? Well, the first thing that I want to explain to you is what is IELTS. I want to explain that, and I want to explain some of the tools that we provide you that can help you prepare for that test. And as Kavita said, at the end of this presentation, you're going to have a very special tour of the test center in Melbourne, which is a very important part of the IELTS network. Well, what is IELTS? The first word in IELTS is international. That's an important word because the test is produced by Cambridge University in the UK, yes, but the people who write the questions are in Australia and in the United States. The people who test you will be from all parts of the world. It's an international English language test, and it's recognized internationally as well. And that is important because if you get an IELTS score, you know that anyone, anywhere will understand what that means. It's a test of your English level, your proficiency. It's not really a test of how much knowledge you have of other things. It's a language test. And that's one of the reasons why it is such a popular test. It's the most popular English language test for study, for work, and also for migration. It's accepted everywhere, and 10,000 educational institutions and other organizations around the world will recognize your results. So when we prepare for an IELTS test, you need to know a few things. And the first thing you need to really understand is what score you need and which IELTS test you want to do, because there are two different types of tests. There's an academic test for entry to university. There is a general training test, which is sometimes used for employment. Either test is okay for migration purposes. Find out what score you need and work towards that score. Do some test preparation, do some practice tests for sure. Learn the format of the test. But to really prepare for the test, the one thing you must do is improve your English. So you can do that every day, anywhere. Then you're ready to book your test date. And you can do that very easily online in many different places. So I mentioned before that there are two types of IELTS test. The academic test, as I said, is for universities. Also, if you are an overseas trained doctor or nurse or accountant and you want to practice in an English-speaking country, you will need an academic IELTS score. If you want to migrate to one of those countries, you will be asked for a score, but it can be academic or general training. And the general training is a different sort of test. The reading is different and the writing is a little bit different. Okay. Apart from the two different types of IELTS test, academic and general training, there are two different ways of doing the test. And the first one, and it's becoming more and more popular, is the computer-delivered IELTS test. And later on, when you do a tour of the Melbourne Centre here in Australia, you will see the computer room where you can do the computer-delivered test. The paper-based test, many of you will have done with a pencil and paper. That still exists and it's still popular with people. The listening, the reading, the writing are all in fact the same in both tests, except that you have your own headphones in the computer test. You are able to put your answers on a screen, and that suits some people. The speaking test remains the same for both the computer and the paper test. So anytime you do a speaking test for IELTS, it will be in a small room with one other person only, and they can listen to you. You can ask for repetition. They will explain some words to you. So that is an important part of IELTS. The big difference between the IELTS on a computer and the IELTS on paper is that you get your result more quickly with the IELTS computer delivered test. And there is less time taken up with handing out papers and collecting papers, and you do the test with a smaller group of people. So in many ways, it's more efficient. Okay, let's go on and look at the format of the test. Now, IELTS is a big test. It takes nearly 3 hours to do. And that is why it is recognized all around the world. It's a good test of your real level of English. The listening is the first part in most parts of the world, but if you're doing the test in Australia, the writing will be the first part in the pencil and paper test. It doesn't matter in what order these come, they are always the same. Listening takes about 30 minutes with 40 questions. The reading takes 60 minutes with 40 questions. The writing takes 60 minutes with 2 tasks. And the speaking will take about 14 minutes in most cases. And there are 3 parts to that speaking. As I said before, the academic and the general training are very similar, except for the reading and the writing. Okay. If you can understand me, you are not any of these people. A 0 person who gets a 0 in the test did not go to the test. A 1 is someone who does not have any English. A 2, just a little bit of English. A 3, a little bit more. A 4, only very basic English. You are probably here, around about a band 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. I hope I'm a 9 because it's my first language. But if you are a 9, you don't have to be a native speaker. You can get a 9 even though your first language is a different language. We have assessment criteria for speaking and writing on our website, IELTS.com, and you can have a look in more detail at what a band 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 can do in those parts of the test. Let's look now at writing in a little bit more detail. Writing in the academic type of test is basically task 1, describing something. In task 1, you have 20 minutes to describe in words some information that is visual. It could be a graph, or like this, it could be a diagram that shows how something is done. All you have to do is describe what you see. You don't have to explain, you don't have to give an opinion. That's in task 2 of the writing. So task 2 of the writing is like this. You're given a statement. Here the statement says university graduates can earn more than less well-educated people, so they should pay for their studies. Then you are asked to respond to the statement. And here the response is simple. Do you agree? Now you can answer this question quite easily. You can say, yes, I agree for these reasons. And that is a good answer. But sometimes the task 2 task is a bit more complicated. Sometimes you might be asked to discuss the reasons for something and solutions for something. So look very closely at what you are being asked to do in task 2 writing. In the general training writing, as I said, it's a little bit different. Task 1 in general training is about writing a letter. You have 2 tasks, but the first task is writing a letter. Now, in both the academic and the general training, you should be careful to spend only 20 minutes on task 1 and 40 minutes on task 2. Why? Because task 1 is only 1/3 of the mark. Task 2 is 2/3 of the mark. It's twice as important. Here you can see you have to write a letter in general training task 1 of 150 words. The situation is explained to you and you are given 3 or 4 points to cover in your letter. In task 2, it's very similar to an academic task 2 because you have to write an opinion. A lot of people think, oh, well, it's a British test. But as I said before, it's an international test. And this means that you can use American spellings. You can use British spellings. Where I come from, Australia, many Australians use a mixture of American and British spelling. So it's fine. Okay, there is an example of a general training task 1. And as I said, you are given a situation. Here, the situation is there are plans to build apartments in a park near where you live. And you are told who to write to. Here, you are told to write to the editor of the newspaper. And then you are told to cover 3 points. How did you find out about the plan? What do you think of the park? Do you like it? And then, what do you think of the plans? Do you like the plan? You don't have, there's no correct answer. You can say, yes, the park is terrible. Let's build apartments there. The plans are good. Or you can say, we love the park. We can't have apartments there. The plans are terrible. Both answers are perfectly good, but just make sure that you answer those 3 points. And very importantly, spend a couple of minutes understanding the task, because sometimes people misunderstand the task and their whole letter is off the point. The same applies for task 2. Spend a couple of minutes understanding the task, because if you don't, you can't get a good score. All right. Remember I said that academic task 2 and general training task 2 are very similar. Well, here is an example of a general training task 2, and you'll see the format is the same for task 2 in academic. You are given a statement. Here the statement is, in many countries, people are eating more and more unhealthy food, and they are taking less exercise. Statement. Then response. What are the causes of this? And what can be done about it? Now, this is not an academic question. This is a question about everyday life and lifestyle. And that is the difference between a general training and an academic task. Here, the response is quite complicated. You have to give reasons for people eating unhealthy food and reasons for people taking less exercise. You've got to give a solution to the first problem and a solution to the next problem. You've really got to do 4 things in this task. Again, read carefully and answer directly. All right, that's writing. Let's look at the reading part now. As I said before, the reading in academic is a little bit different to the reading in general training, but they both take 60 minutes. They both have 40 questions. There are 3 sections in both, but in the general training, the passages are shorter. Instead of having one passage of about 900 words in part 1, they might have 2 passages of about 400 words each. And those passages will be a list or a group of advertisements in general training, because the reading there is about your everyday life. 40 questions in 60 minutes in academic, 40 questions and 60 minutes in general training. Okay. The thing about reading is we have to test first if you can understand what you read, and second, how efficiently you can read. If we gave you 4 hours to do a reading test, well, we could assess whether you understood, but could you read efficiently? So we give you less time. We ask you to read about 2,500 words in 1 hour. That means you must become efficient with your reading. You need to practice some important skills. The first important skill you need to practice is skimming. Skimming is what you do already when you read something in your first language. If you're reading something in Spanish or Hindi or Arabic or Indonesian, in the newspaper, you don't read every word. You are looking for something that is interesting. That is skimming. You are looking for the general meaning. And if you find something interesting, then you will read for detail. Scanning is similar. You are not reading every word, but you are looking for a particular thing. For example, do you ever turn to the back page of the newspaper to find a football score? That is scanning. You are looking for the name of your team and a number. You want to know how many goals they score. That is scanning. Now you can do this in IELTS. Read the question first, find out what the key word is, and then find that key word in the passage, and that will make your reading more efficient and quicker. And that is how you will succeed in the reading test for IELTS. Okay. There are different question types in IELTS, and this is one of the reasons why it is a good test. The reason I say it's a good test because it has different question types is because the more different types of questions, the less able you are to simply guess. You need to actually understand what you're reading to answer multiple choice questions, true, false, and not given questions, to be able to match a heading to a paragraph, to complete a sentence accurately, to answer a short question. All of these types of questions you will find in the academic and in the general training reading. But an important thing you must remember, do you see the asterisk, the little star next to multiple choice, and the little asterisks, the star next to identify, and next to short answer, and next to sentence completion? With these types of questions, the answer to the first question comes before the answer to the second question, which comes before the answer to the third question. This can help you. If you're doing a true, false, and not given task, which is a difficult one in IELTS, if you find the answer to question number 21, you know the answer to question number 22 will come after that. So that will help you navigate, find your way through the passage. Okay. Practice those things, the skimming, the scanning, but read. Read every day, because this will also help your writing and your listening and your speaking. The third skill that we're looking at is listening. Okay. Now this guy's got his earphones in there and he's very happy. He's probably listening to a podcast, maybe. Maybe he's listening to the news in English. Maybe he's listening to a song in English. All of these are good ideas. The more English you have going in here, the more will come out there. So practice that. So the listening, as I said, takes about 30 minutes. And there are 40 questions. There are 4 parts to the listening, and each part is a different type of listening. The first one is a conversation between 2 people talking about anything. The second part is one person giving some information. The third part is 2 or 3 or 4 people talking about education. Maybe they're talking about a university essay they have to do, or a seminar that they have attended. And finally, the fourth part, the most difficult part, is one person giving a lecture, like me now. In the pencil and paper test, you get 10 minutes to transfer your answers at the end of the listening, but you don't get that extra time in a computer delivered test. So be careful about that. Okay, the final part of the test now is the speaking. My favorite part of the test. Why? Because I love to talk and I love to hear other people talk as well. If you like to talk, don't be afraid of the speaking test, because the person you are talking to is a trained teacher who probably speaks another 1 or 2 languages, has probably lived in a foreign country, and understands what it is to learn a language and wants you to succeed. It's face to face with just one other person, and this is good because you can ask that person some questions. You can ask them to repeat their question. The speaking test has 3 parts. The first part is talking about you. What do you like? Where do you live? What job do you do? What colors? What clothes? What cars do you like? What food do you like? They're simple questions, but there is one difficult question in it, and that is why. Practice answering the why question. If I say, what's your favorite food? And you say, well, my favorite food is the food my Italian mother made gnocchi. The examiner will say, why? Think about a reason. It reminds me of my mother. It's very tasty, etc. The second part of the speaking is where you have to talk for 2 minutes about a simple thing, about a person you know, about a place that you know, about an event that you know, about an object that you know about. You choose which of those you're going to talk about. If I say talk about a famous person, you choose which famous person to talk about. Practice this and practice making some notes, because you have 1 minute to make some notes, quick notes about what you're going to talk about. You can practice that every day. And finally, in the speaking, we talk about more general subjects. What are the problems, the environmental problems in your country? Is traffic a problem? What's the best form of education for young people, etc. Remember when I said you should read? The more you read in English, the more ideas you will have and the more words you will have for this part of the speaking test. Okay, so that is the test. And really, all you now have to do is prepare. And as I said, you can do practice tests, but also you should also just learn as much English as you can anywhere that you can. You can go to our IELTS Advantage. You'll find that on the internet. You can see there the YouTube address at the bottom of that slide. This is a great guy giving some very good advice. Sorry, not a great guy, just me without a beard. And it tells you a lot of good information, a lot of answers, a lot of questions that many people have about IELTS, about what you can expect on the test day, about the assessment criteria, and about many other things as well. As well as that, there are other videos that will give you writing tips and speaking tips and other things. All of those things are on the YouTube channel as well. You can also get, if you register for the test with one of our centres, you will get free access to a very good preparation software that will help you practice online. It's called IELTS Masters. And this is, I've looked at it myself, I've gone through it, it's very complete. So check that out. The other thing you can do is, for a small fee, do an online IELTS test. And you will get a score, not an official score, but a score that indicates where you are. And if you want to get a 6 and this score here gives you a 6, you know that you have some confidence about doing the real test. That's the progress check. So my basic message to you is this: practice your English. If you want to get a good score, anything you learn in English, maybe from a song, maybe from reading, maybe from a podcast, maybe from talking to someone, will help you get that score. But it doesn't happen overnight. A band 7 requires not months, but years of work. I know many of you have already done years of work. Anything you learn in English can be tested in IELTS. So push yourself to learn something every day. And finally, you might find some very good advice on our IELTS.idp.com website, our Facebook page. And by the way, if we don't answer all your questions today, keep posting them, because we will answer them on Facebook. You can go to TikTok as well. You can go to the YouTube channel that I mentioned as well. All of those resources are there for you to use. Okay, We have only a couple of minutes for some questions, but I'm happy to take them right now if anyone has some questions to ask, because after this, we're going to go to have a live tour of the Melbourne Test Centre. But now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pass back to Kavita, who is now going to tell me if there are any questions coming up.
Thank you, Don. We've got lots of questions for you. So let's get to the questions now. So first question from someone who's actually sitting the test the day after tomorrow. You did answer this in your wonderful presentation earlier, but I would just like to ask it again. She tends to write using both English and American English. So she wants to know, for IELTS writing and listening, is it required to follow American, Australian, or British English, or can we mix?
You can mix them. As I said, in Australia, we do mix them. It's unlikely that you would spell, as an example, color. American, C-O-L-O-R, British, C-O-L-O-U-R. It's unlikely that you would spell it once O-R and then another time O-U-R in the same essay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to write color, C-O-L-O-U-R, and then labor, L-A-B-O-R, in the same essay, an English spelling and an American spelling, that's fine, not a problem. In fact, we do that in Australia very often. So relax about that. The main thing is, if you're writing in pencil, make sure that it's clear that your O is an O and not an A, and your I doesn't look like an E, because these things will be treated as a spelling mistake. Okay?
All right, thank you, Don. That brings us to our next question, actually. Someone wants to know, which is better, pen or pencil for the writing task 1 and 2?
You must use pencil. So there is no choice. You'll be given a pencil and you must use it. Okay, so don't worry about the pen. In the past, you could use a pen, but nowadays, only pencil.
Perfect. Another question. Do you have any information based on your research or experience on how many hours of preparation is needed to increase the overall band score by 0.5?
I actually have done some research on this, Kavita, some very detailed research.
Good.
Because I was teaching in Indonesia many years ago and also in Vietnam, and we were trying to improve the scores. And it comes down to many different factors. How old you are. If you're older, maybe you won't improve as quickly. If you come in at a low score, maybe a 4, you might get to a 5 in 3 months. But if you're at a 7, you're not going to get to an 8 in 3 months. So it varies, okay? And it varies, of course. Some people are good at languages and other people are not. It used to be that they said, well, 10 weeks, half a band. But really, it depends on who you are, what level you are, how you study, etc. But it's guaranteed, if you do have a routine and work at it every day, you will improve.
That's very great. That's very good advice, Don. Next question. If it's someone wants to know if it's okay to take notes on the writing booklet. Would it affect the score?
No, the examiner knows. Well, actually, if we're talking about the writing task booklet, that the examiner never sees that. That is thrown away. If you make some notes where you're writing your essay, if it's clear that this is not part of the essay, then that's okay. But I would recommend that you make your notes not on the where you're writing your essay, because that may be confusing. So you can write all over the question paper, not a problem, because the examiner never sees that. Okay.
Thank you. Let's look at the next question. Someone said, my accent is neutral, so will it affect my speaking score? And also I have difficulty probably sometimes, stringing a sentence together when speaking. So how can I improve?
Well, a neutral accent is a, I don't really know what a neutral accent is, because I've got an accent, you've got an accent, Kavita.
Yeah.
Everyone has an accent. It doesn't matter about accent. It's
Mhm.
only if you are understood or not, okay?
Mhm.
If people can understand you, then that's fine. Being able to speak fluently, that is to link your words together so that they flow, is one of the criteria that is assessed. And you can practice fluency. You can practice using phrases that connect your ideas. For example, well, I'm not sure about that, but I think, or well, to be honest, blah, blah, blah. These words that I just used then are called linking words. They're discourse markers, right? That's the technical word.
Mhm.
Practice those, and practice saying a few things fluently to give you time to prepare the content of what you're going to say.
Mhm.
Don't speak too quickly. Don't speak too slowly.
That's great tip. Thank you, Don. Next question. As an IELTS expert, what are the most common errors that leads to getting a lower score in IELTS academic? And what skills should I improve on to getting a higher score?
Which skill are we talking about?
Didn't specify,
No?
but
Okay.
just the
Well,
general IELTS academic.
yeah. Well, if you're looking at I would recommend that this person goes to IELTS.com and look at the assessment criteria for speaking and writing. And there they will see that the more errors you have in your grammar, the more errors you have in your spelling, in writing, then the lower your score will be. So they are two of the criteria, the lexical resource and grammar. In speaking and writing, there are other criteria as well, like writing, paragraphing, being able to understand the question and answer it directly. They are important parts of the assessment. In speaking, as I said, pronunciation and fluency are important parts as well. So it could be a mixture of all of those things. And if this person, for example, gets a 6.5, they know that two elements in their performance in speaking and writing are at the band 7, and two are at the lower level. So they should be able to look at the assessment criteria and say, well, where do I have to improve? And that may help. Kavita, when are we going to go and see Oki at the Melbourne Test Centre?
Oh, we shall go right away. I believe
Okay.
Oki is ready.
Oh, there she is.
You can, do the introductions, Don.
Oh, all right. Now, I have been to the Melbourne Test Centre, and it's a beautiful place, and it's full of beautiful people as well. And as an example, here is Oki, who is going to show you around. Over to you, Oki.
Thank you, Don. Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of myself to work with Don. Okay, my name is Oki, but some people think my name is okay, but not okay. Okay, my name is Oki, O-K-I. All right. I work at IDP Melbourne Test Centre as a customer support team, and then so which means when you just send us an email or give us a call, I'm the one always just look after your questions, okay, or inquiries. Recently, I've been just receiving more questions about computer delivered IELTS test. That's why I'm here today to provide you with some information regarding computer delivered IELTS test. So first, I like to take you to our test center and go through step by step to show you how we conduct the test on your test day. So, are you ready? Then just give me one sec. Here we go. Okay. So welcome to Melbourne. And then this is outside of our test center. And then as you see that, there is a number which it says 170. So which means we are located at level 7, 170 Queen Street. and then let's go in. All right, I will take you up to level 7. Okay, so because of pandemic, we always have sort of a sign to protect each other. And then I will just get you to level 7. Okay. So did you know IDP IELTS Melbourne Test Center was the first computer-delivered IELTS test in the world? I'm so excited to show you. Okay, open. Sesame, ta-da! Okay, you can quickly scan. Ooh, so as you see this still, we have many signs on the wall, and then also sanitizers everywhere to reduce sort of spreading COVID-19. It's this for all, just protecting our staff members and then test takers. And then look at this. We do have fruits. Why do we have fruits? Because we don't like you to have empty stomach. Some test takers are too afraid or too nervous, so they can't eat it. Help yourself. We have fruits everywhere. And then what you need is, the most important thing is relaxing. Ta-da! Please take a seat and then just relax, okay? We provide just a free Wi-Fi. If you like to play with your phone or laptops, please go for it. Or just watch TV. We have good information about COVID-19. Also, if you just keep watching it, then it will tell you all about IELTS test and then tips for your test today, okay? So, what are we doing now? Oh my God, it's time's up. We are about to start test. What do you have? Oh, where can I just leave all my stuff, bags and watches and just phones? Oh my God, what am I doing? Don't worry. What you need is, you just need a passport, okay? You only are allowed to take this passport. So follow me. I will show you where we can just store these ones, okay? So I am taking you to our locker area. So if any doors open, which means they are all available. So I will just pick the first one, which is number 1. I just put everything inside and then close the door. Remember, this is only for you, so you make sure you need to lock it. I will just make sure 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, no one can open up. And then some test takers are so just nervous to remember even locker number 1 or even password. But don't worry, we do have mask, so you don't have to worry too much, okay? So before you go to the test room, we do have some waters here. So if you're thirsty, please. And then also around here, we do have just bathrooms for female and the male. So please. But during the test, oh, I am so thirsty. What am I doing? Or I want to go to the bathroom. Then simply, please raise your hand, because our just friendly invigilators will take you to the bathroom, or we'll get you some water. Okay, so from now on, this is a very important part. So we need to register you to just go into the test room. Are you ready? Okay, so ta-da! This is the desk we can register you. So what do we need? Do you remember? We just need a passport. So you just go here, and then our friendly Jackie will just help you to register. So we need to give this to Jackie. Here you are, Jackie. And then she will check all about your passport. And then what is the next? We need to get your finger scan. So this is the scanner. So please use your right index finger and then just down, up. How many times? 4 times. So when you see red light, which means it's gone through very well. So let me try. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some candidates, they use all fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not good. We'll just say, just stay there forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just down, up, 4 times. And next, we get our passport bag, and then we need to take a photo of your face. Look at Jackie, she's holding cameras, and then there is most precious to our customer there. All right, so when you just take photo view, just I'm wearing glasses. I'm sorry, you're not allowed to. What about my head, my cap? I'm sorry, you're not allowed to. I have a beautiful smile and my teeth are very healthy. I'm sorry. And then I'm ready. Nothing's on my face or hair. I'm sorry, your hair is a little bit messy. What do you think? Yes, it's a good photo. All right, so once you're done, we just take you to the waiting room. Okay, so this is the second room before you just go to the test room. So some of them take written test, listening, reading, and writing first, or some of them take speaking test first. It depends on which session you choose. Okay, so when you're doing speaking test, one of our just examiner, very friendly examiner, will come out to take you to the test room. Hi, my name is Dawn. Okay, so okay, are you ready? Then I will take you to the test room. Let's go. Okay, guys, how many rooms we have? I mean, speaking rooms. Let me just show you. Okay, speaking room 1. Oh, we have customers there, and then also Dawn's there. Okay, test room 2. We also have another customer, and then also Dawn's there. Oh, this is very young Dawn. And then next, also this is another just test room, and then this is our last room. All right, so when you do your speaking test, you don't have to be afraid too much. Even myself, I am from Korea, and then I am so worried about my accent. I'm so worried maybe you guys might just judge me, okay? But trust me, our examiners who work here at IDP at Melbourne Test Center, they are so friendly, and also they understand your accent and then your culture. And then even if you're not sure, then you can just ask them again, then they will rephrase the question or just repeat the question. Look at this. Satisfied, and then our Dawn is so happy. Look at that. All right, so then I will leave them just alone. Close the door. Okay, so next, finally, I can show you our test room for the computer delivered. Ta-da! Okay, so our maximum capacity is only 24 test takers. I do remember when I did my IELTS test with a paper base, I was with maybe few hundred people. So which means it's not crowded at all here, and then it's very relaxing. So what do we have? When you just come here, then you will see noise cancelling headphones. This is for listening test, but you can just wear it for reading and just writing as well. And also, we provide a pen and then log sheet. So which means you need all just logging details to just start testing. So, and then behind, you can use this as a note, okay? And also we do have a keyboard and then mouse. So you can just using this one to just give all the answers. Okay. Now, I am going to tell you about just computer delivered IELTS test a little bit more. So just give me one moment. Okay. Sorry if I just make it dizzy, then I'm so sorry. I had to just walking around and then just show you everything. Okay, so let's see. I got a question most about this. What is different between paper-based and computer delivered IELTS test? They do have like a same question type, contents, and then timings, and then just marking. But yes, as you just don't explain to you guys, listening is a little bit different because with the computer delivered, you are not required to move all your answers from question booklets to answer sheet, which means you can just directly type the answer or just using mouse and then give the answer to just compare directly. So you will get only just 2 minutes at the end of the test. Okay, then what is different? So just simple, different tools, just using pen and paper or using computer. So for example, you're just planning to go to Tasmania from Melbourne. Some people like to take a ferry. Some people like to take a flight. So it's different way to get to the Tasmania, but eventually you're gonna meet each other and then have a party. Yay! The same thing. It might be much quicker than ferry, I guess. So when you take computer delivered IELTS test, we have tests like 3 sessions in a day, and then 7 days a week. So which means we have a test every day. And then for example, so if you book a test for Monday, the best thing is it takes only 2 to 5 any days, 2 to 5 days to get result in general. So if you take a test for Monday, then you will get your result by Saturday. So which means you can get everything done within 1 week. All right. Because of this computer, you can also use computer functions. What do we have? You can't access the internet to find out everything. I'm so sorry. If you're expecting, oh, then can I just use the internet? I'm sorry. Oh, then can I just do it at home? I'm sorry. You still need to come to our test center to sit for the test. But what you can do is, when you're doing listening test, you can control the volume. So you can make it just a little bit, it's too just, the sound is very small, then you can just make it louder. Or even text size. Oh, I can't see properly, or make them really bigger, or just, if this is too big, then you can just make it smaller. Also, when you're doing reading, if you think, oh, yes, I really want to remember this sentence, it's very important, then you can highlight. And then when you just give the answer, oh, I know, I read this word, yes, I found this one in the content, then you can easily just copy and paste. But most I like is for the writing test. So when I did paper-based, I have to just write down and then, oh, I don't like it. Using erase and then just delete. Oh, okay, how many words so far I've been writing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But you don't have to do this with a computer delivered IELTS test. There is function of just automatic just word count. So when you just write down, it automatically just calculate and then count, and then it will show you on the bottom. So you just while you're doing writing task, oh, okay, I've been just writing maybe 120, so I need 30 words more. So it will give you an idea, and then you don't have to spend the time keep counting. You can just rather just use the time to just read your question, or just write down a little bit more you like. You can just check your answers. The thing is, we do have just studying materials also on the website available. It's just don't explain to you about progress check. It will just tell you where you are at the moment. And also, I really just like you to just try mock test. I mean, free mock test. So some test takers, oh, it is my first time, I don't know where to start. Then please try to do that mock test. Then it will give you an idea, and then it's free, and then everyone can access it. So just try. I'm sorry if I just rushed too much, then I'm really sorry. But I think that's all for today. But I believe you do have some questions, but you can just send us an email at ielts.melbourne@idp.com. We are here to support you as much as we can. And then if you check our Google review, then you will be able to see, wow, Melbourne, IDP at Melbourne is amazing. And then you will be able to see my names a lot. All right. So it was really nice meeting you guys. And then I hope to see you again. Katie!
Oh,
Thanks, Oki.
thank you so much. Loved it. Well done, Don and Oki. Another amazing presentation today. There were lots of great tips and detailed explanations, and we love the walkthrough of the IDP IELTS Test Center. Oki, you're such a star. That's it, everyone. That wraps our session for this evening. Thank you to all of you who joined us tonight and asked a question. We truly appreciate your time. If we didn't get a chance to answer your questions, we'll make sure we'll answer them and message you directly. For many of you who asked, I also wanted you to know that the Facebook recording of today's session will be available after this. So you can catch back on anything you may have missed or any resources that are mentioned that you want to refer back to. So have a great day, everyone, and thanks again.
Thanks, Kavita. Bye. See you, Oki.